give my 2 cents on that. I think, so essentially, I am very, very passionate about HR. For the past 21 years, I'm in this field, right? From what I have seen and all of that, I think this time, which we are facing, all the trends that are happening, all the technologies, all the digital, what is the term coined across all of that, I think it's one of the most exciting times that we are having. It is one of the most eventful, not for what is happening now, for what can happen. Because we're seeing a lot of those things that are actually coming to fruition. So I've worked across some 46 countries, and in each of those countries, we have actually implemented like the digital cockpit and things like that and all of that. So I'm very, very interested in these topics. So I'll give it from that perspective, probably on the, So I am very, very gung-ho about all of this, right? And I think this is one of the best things to happen to HR. Will it make HR obsolete? I'll go to the other extent and saying that it will actually help us realize the core values and what HR is all about. What is changing? Number one, the topic talks of just 2-3 things. I think that digital transformation is what all this talks about, right? When you talk of millennials, there are actually 5 generations of people who are working. The exponential change that is happening. So you have the Gen X, which is pre-1960 to 1980, 1980 to 2000 is Gen Y, and then Gen Z is 2000 onwards. That and the baby boomers, what the Americans call that, kind of thing. So there's a 4. And then there is the seniors. The seniors are coming more and more. That's a recent trend that is happening, right? So 5 generations people, and all of them have different expectations, right? So that is one. What's happening on the digital side? What is digital? If I ask even 3 people, each of you to tell me what is digital, each of your answers will be very different, right? I go by digital. There are so many definitions that are out there. For me, digital and what is happening is about 2 things. One is it's not about a thing, it is about how you do things. It is how you have to rethink almost everything that you're doing right now, right? And look at the output in terms of just 2 measures, right? One is employee experience, right? And it's a very, very rich term, and you can go into depth. Employee engagement and employee experience is what they, is. And second is business value. Anything and everything in your job, at whatever level you are in HR, if it is not contributing to business value, it is not contributing to employee experience, it is at risk, right? Now, I don't want to, again, there is a great question all the time, right? Will this displace jobs and will this thing? I feel it will create more jobs than it will displace jobs. Yes, there is disruption, there is some amount of pain, there is some amount of change, there is some amount of things. But it's all eventually, what is happening is HR will realize its real things. How, for it being fuzzy, it's really about how HR can show its value to business, right? And how it can enable a lot of things that it does not do now, right? So what is not changing? We are in the people business, right? We are about purpose, we are about meaning, we are about culture, we are about building teams, we are about change, we are about agility, and those things will not change. And that's the reason why HR will not become obsolete. What is going to change? Anything, when you talk of Uber is on the disintermediation of work, right? Any intermediaries, middlemen are going to go away eventually, right? Any transactional, any manual, anything that can be automated, anything physical, is probably at risk in terms of jobs. So what is happening now is within HR, there is a huge sea, like we talk about the history of HR, even in HR, there is a huge sea of things. Now at the largest of organizations, the most mature of organizations, you go and see, the problems are the same, right? You talk of this high-end technology, but you're still at a very, very basic level, right? And I'll give you an example. More than half the work that HR does, give or take, it is all different based on every organization. It's still regulatory, compliance, administration, transactional, manual, all of that, right? And this is not what HR. That's what employees also, the business people would not realize what HR can do when you're at that, right? Shifting all of this work out, automating it, self-service, shared services, outsource, all of that, and move that into business partnering, culture, strategy, transformation, and be that, connect to business. I think that's where things are moving. And that's, I feel, where digital and technology is going to change. Now, what is, just looking at technology, digital is not just technology. Digital is a digital strategy, a structure, a service delivery, a culture, technology, processes, people, all of that has to be digital. Now, let's just talk of technology piece, right? What is given here is just part of it, right? AI, robotic process automation, chatbots, blockchain, connected enterprise, IoT, the stack, what we talked of, social, mobility, analytics, cloud, VR, AR, gamification, you name it, there are some 25 things that are happening. And if you mix together 2 things, analytics, let's take a simple example of where we are and we have to reach, right? At the biggest of organizations, what I see is Basic headcount reports, there's an army of people on Excel just running around all the time, at regional level, at global level, if that is that, right? Is that when we talk of analytics, just take one piece of these 20 things, analytics. Analytics is big data, data science, talent science, predictive, prescriptive, simulations, forecasting, dashboards, KPIs, metrics, measures. That is the entire, some part of analytics. Where are we? Again, for basic reports that integrate, collect data, we are not able to do that. You need, at technology level, basic single source of data, data harmonization, similar kind of things. Basic system you need on which you can build all of that. The analytics maturity is the 5-level analytics maturity. People are still at level 0, level 1, many of them, or many parts of the organization. So you are not able to realize the benefits that digital can give, right? And that's the challenge that some part of the things have. Digital has the potential to attack the most major issues of mankind. I'm talking of climate change, I'm talking of hunger, I'm talking of health and all of that. You have things that are happening now where there are 1,000 operations being performed by robots, right? AI, there is the last 30 seconds. In terms of AI, for example, there is a lot of study and research and all of that, and take it with a pinch of salt. But what it says is, by 2032, right, the top 12 economies would add about $15 to $20 trillion of economic output, is what multiple reports say. Whether it's true or not and all of that, it may not be that much. That is equal to the major superpower kind of GDP.